And welcome back, everybody, once again to the PCS Summer Split Playoffs and our first series, which has been an absolute shocker to just about everybody, well, except maybe Nightstar. It is currently 2-0, match point for Mega Bank Beyond Gaming. Before we get into what could be our final game tonight, if a clean sweep comes through, I do want to shout out our sponsors yet again, C2BC Bank for always being by our side, and our new sponsor, China Airlines. We're flying high with them for the rest of the playoffs, so thank you very much. Now, Mr. Clement, J-Team are down 0-2. Put your coach hat on. What do you say to these guys to get into our third game?
Well, I have to announce to everyone that they have picked blue side once more. So if they really want to change things up, the first big thing I would say is please just take the Sivir, please. At least force Beyond Gaming off of their game plan. Because I feel like Beyond Gaming have been just too comfortable with the Sivir pick early on. You know, they've been completely fine in lane. They can wave clear, which allows them to play these late game scaling compositions. So if you just take the Sivir, it changes, I think, a lot of the dynamics. And, you know, if Wako ultimately beats you on a Draven, then just so be it, okay? You got beat by a Draven. That's fine. That goes down in history as, a good try. So that would be my first move. But honestly, if I was the coach, I would not go on blue side again. I definitely don't think that's the greatest of ideas. What I would do is I would say, you know what? I'm just going to get counterpick on both my solo lanes. Bot lane, you guys haven't been doing the best just yet. I'll just pick an engager for Enso because it's pretty apparent that we actually need another engage on our team at this point. So I'm going to take that, counterpick, Rock and Driver. You guys just focus on winning your lanes. It's absolutely fine. That's all we need. Your engages have been so. So that would be my suggestion, but they have taken a different track, and we have to see what they're going to first pick here on blue side. If it's not Sivir, oh boy, I feel a 3-0.
Well, we're starting ourselves off. The Gwen's still banned. The Wukong is banned. At least that changes a little bit. But for Beyond Gaming, as you said before, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Both of Lil B's hot champions going to be taken off the board.
Okay, LeBlanc's still going to be off here, so it does signal that J-Team are still potentially looking at the Ahri, and I think Ahri is actually fine for them, but all they need to do is just first pick the Sivir. If you want to, save the Ahri for later, that's definitely okay. And for Beyond Gaming, I think their third pick was, what was it? Oh yeah, it was still Poppy. I think Poppy's their best pick for sure. Hongya is really good at engaging here, and oh please, no.
They really want the Ahri. Oh,
okay. Sivir,
okay.
Please. Lock it in.
Haven't hit the lock button yet. There
yes!
we go.
Okay, we still got a shot, boys. There we go.
Okay. This is good. You have to expect it to happen, but what's the mix up here for Beyond Gaming? Because they don't have the Wukong, they don't have the Sivir. Looks like the Ahri for themselves.
Yeah, I don't think either side wants to play Lissandra in this matchup, so it's most likely going to be Ahri for one side and then potential Swain for the other. I think that would be what makes the most sense, and you can also play a Talia into Ahri. It's not that bad of a matchup, to be absolutely honest with you. But the general idea here is that J-Team can actually sit around and wait a while as they pick away their junglers and their support. They can save the decision for later at this point.
Yeah. Let's see what Kongye would go on to this time around. We haven't seen his Lee Sin come out. I think this is an opportunity, although it would be a little more in the early game, which is kind of what we were hoping to. Viego is open as well. Silas has been banned away a lot. If they want to put that on Uniboy, they do. I guess it's technically a flex pick.
It's kind of interesting to see the Silas, but it's definitely something that has a lot more, I think, tenacity compared to the other picks that he's gone for. You can get a lot more done. You have a lot more comeback potential on something like this pick. But they have to think about the Alistar here. I feel like the Alistar... no, I'm sorry. It actually counters out the Alistar from the Beyond Gaming side here as well. So, whoa, and a Pantheon jungle.
This is 12.14.
Yeah.
This is the champion that's been coming back. We've seen a couple of other regions to mixed success, but J-Team pulling that one out at the end. All right.
This just makes it possible for win lane, win game. You just jump at someone on the Pantheon, and you have follow-up crowd control all across the board. Beyond Gaming, they have to ban the Nautilus. Yeah, they have to ban, I think, Nautilus, Leona, just to make sure that they can't be followed up on with the ganks.
Yeah. Alistair could come up huge again, though. That's an opportunity for Enzo. I liked it. Also, Tom Kench is up, too. I mean, it's not as engagey of a champion. Maybe a little overkill in safety, but I don't know. You know what would be really fun? I don't think it'll happen. How do you feel about Sivir Yumi?
Sivir Yumi, I guess it's fun. I
A lot
wouldn't
of speed.
dislike it. And you also have the fact that Nautilus is out of the picture. So, yeah, not a bad one.
I do think J-Team have pulled out at least something they've prepared a little differently, and they know Rakan as well this time around. We'll see what Beyond are going to go ahead and pick themselves up for. The bottom side should expect to see the counter pick for Lee Kai at the end.
Okay, just
I don't think it's going to be
You're already up 2-0.
Yeah, I mean that would be some
happen.
confidence, but yeah, that wouldn't be the pick I'd be expecting in that case. The Leona is available. Takeaway makes a lot of sense here, and they line.
Yeah, so Beyond Gaming going for a pick composition. It can snowball quite well. J-Team, they have the late game, they have the Sivir, they have the Silas, and they also have just so much game potential from Pantheon. I love this champion. I think it makes the games so much more easier. You just pack with crowd control at this point. The J-Team probably has to go for something like the Alistar or the Tom Kench, one of those two, as you've mentioned here.
Okay.
Tom Kench is fine. I actually like the Tom Kench because it can take away the season desist here.
That's true.
And just make the vibe life just miserable, or especially cancel out the charms. For JT,
I also like the Ornn as a blind pick.
Absolutely, I agree with you on this one. You know, the Fiora is still up, but I think with J-Team you have enough damage finally on this composition compared to what you had before with the Talia.
There it is. All right, final composition for J-Team locked in so far. See if they're able to get one back for themselves and make it not so final. As Beyond Gaming might be looking to throw some axes out. Lee Kai's had such a great series already. Let's see if the Viking comes to play.
Would be the first time across the PCS this split, but nah.
Okay, there. Yeah, it's too tempting. It's too tempting. Every top laner that wants to fight it out, that wants to duel it out, loves to play Fiora, and why not? It's worked out well for Lee Kai so far.
Yeah, I think Fiora does have a little bit easier time pre-6 against the Olaf, compared to the Olaf as well. You got that riposte, and there's also going to be a Ghost here. Interesting pickup, just to potentially chase down the lane with the Ornn with.
It's kind of stickier that way.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think most times you still prefer the flash anyway to just kind of surprise the backline. But this time they're probably trying to stick up to the Sivir after the ultimate.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a real big test in the beginning. Like, you obviously want to not let the Fiora snowball, as was a big threat last time around. I think you're going early game. You've got to go hard. You've got to play with confidence. They have the tools. That's the big takeaway for me this time, is that J-Team have very clearly understood what they need to do in the draft, even though they are committed to staying on the blue side of the Rift. You know you give away top lane counterpick. You know that's a possibility of getting shut down. But on the opposite side, they've got a lot of tools to work with. I like the Silas. I like the Sivir. I like this Pantheon in Kongye's hands. We'll see if it can make all the difference, because it's going to need to, Clement.
Oh boy, yeah. The biggest thing we need to see is if J-Team has actually regained their composure. That, for me, we can find out right in the first team fight. If they're able to pull off engages decisively, then yes, they still have that the spark in them, and maybe we can anticipate a comeback. But if the first team fight goes wrong, I feel like J-Team are so far down already that could just tip them over the edge.
So I do want to point out this Pantheon coming up on 12.14 as an option. If I'm reading it right, this is Kongye's first career match on this champion. And it is nice, new, and shiny. So certainly be keeping our eyes on that man. He always makes a big impact for the team. He's been a little quieter this series. I think Husha's just been so much better at getting around the map quicker, and that is one of the advantages Beyond have been able to leverage. But here we are, third time, match point. Megabank Beyond Gaming looking to pull off the seeding upset and face off against Deep Cross Gaming in the next round of the upper bracket. J-Team would be shell-shocked to get dropped without it getting a single win.
It would be absolutely terrifying for Deep Cross Gaming. You know, Beyond Gaming, their last 2 big wins were precisely against J-Team and against DCG. So it definitely feels like they're taking names. Some nice moves here. Of course, they're still going to know that Pantheon started onto the bot side, but Rock keeps himself hidden in the early part from that one. And if we take a look across the map right here, just a couple things to point out. Pantheon not going to be looking for that early gank into the bottom side here, as he's starting up the red, going to top lane. Meanwhile, it will be Husha potentially to come down here a little bit faster.
Yeah, good trade though, going in favor of Lil V and Enzo. Kongye with the red buff does get spotted pretty immediately. One thing Beyond Gaming have done incredibly well here, as the gank is sniffed out, is just not only tracking the jungler, but just tracking the movements in general of the J-Team members. Beyond Gaming have just been so great at covering wards.
They've been able to play off of the first rotation from Kongye just flawlessly. You know, Lee Kai always getting the first ward down in, and after the gank into the top lane last time, they were able to force Kongye to go top and then track him again for a gank into the bot side. So I think Husha has definitely been proving his chops as our best early game jungler so far. And now he's off to some mischief. They did spot out where the ward was dropped earlier. They have that angle into the back.
Well, Lil V gonna need that spell shield and the cleanse. Playing very safe with the summoners, but will it be safe enough?
Mini wave is coming.
It doesn't land the Zenith Blade. I think that might have made the difference. Okay, so the Gambit doesn't pay off this time around. That's a sigh of relief for J-Team if they even know it.
They definitely do. They spotted out the buy a little bit earlier, so they're able to stay safe here. Oh, great find onto Wako as well. As we've been talking about, lane sustain much weaker in this path, so the damage definitely sticks a bit more. And now Kongye has this top side open. You know, Lee Kai's going to be impacted by this one. Kongye could be flashing over if he so chooses to.
He does!
Here we
nice
go.
Stun, good combo. Oh, they need the kill though, Minji! Okay, he nails the charm into a minion, so the turnabout isn't as strong as it could have been, but Kongye nearly goes down in tower range, and the gank 1v2 gets turned.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate. There was a earlier on, and the other side.
Yeah, Husha knew immediately that he had the opportunity to turn that one for his own mid laner, and the worst possible outcome for J-Team comes to pass.
Yeah, Uniboy does have his flash, but not able to react in time to that one. Husha with a great game coming into the backside here. Uniboy just decides to save his flash, come back with the TP. You know, things are not over just yet, but you definitely want to see that Pantheon apply a little bit of pressure onto Ahri pre-6. Guess that's not going to happen, and is that 3 for 3 first bloods on Husha's end?
I
know it was in game 2. Oh,
I think it is actually. Oh boy, Beyond Gaming just doing an absolute masterclass this series, just getting the early game ahead, and it wasn't for lack of trying. I liked the angle. I think the execution could have been a bit better from Kongye and Uniboy. Also, Silas not going to be able to burst quite as much in that early game. Does beg the question why this champion was the choice when you had something like Talia still available. Maybe your burst wasn't going to be that good there either, but Minji on the Ahri is pretty solid. They left it open.
Yeah, I think taking the Sivir was definitely correct in my estimation, but
I think he could have left Gwen open. They've been banning it all series long. It hasn't done much, but here we go. Kino with the cutoff on Enzo actually denies the combination play that they wanted to make. However, do Beyond have enough damage? Uniboy burning, but he actually is able to walk away from it. But Kongye and Enzo realize they can't fight this out 2v3, and with the
charm
damage,
comes through.
Vault Breaker the charm does manage to land. However, from downtown, that is not going to be enough distance covered by the Ultra Shock Laser, and J-Team get out by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, another big win for Beyond Gaming right there. It was a little bit scuffed in the start of that one, but they were able to find much more damage onto the backline at that point. And then we also saw Enzo with a pretty heroic step up and takes the charm to the face like a good support should, and saves the rest of the 2 members that were already blinking on HP bars. Let's watch this again. It was, J-Team definitely knew everyone was here, and
good interrupt
great play there by Kino. Wow, you know, Husha, Minji was already missing the flash, and if that went through, Minji was dead for sure.
Oh yeah. Somehow, Uniboy gets away.
Ooh.
That's
Good flash here
yeah.
on the back end by Enzo too. Beautiful.
Yeah. Beyond do, based on that pressure and the pushback there, they do manage to get themselves the first dragon. It is an ocean, so not nearly as important for either of these squads comparatively, as you've talked a lot about, you know, the changes that have happened, especially on the Hextech Drake. But there's still plenty of time for that to be the Rift, which could be a big difference. Again, objective control has been key to winning on this patch, and it certainly has been key to Beyond Gaming strategy even before then. So things looking good for the Beyond Gaming side. 2-0 up in this series, looking for the sweep to set up a match with Deep Cross Gaming, the other team they beat in the final week. This is a squad that's definitely punching above their record.
Absolutely, and I'm still looking at what Pantheon can do to impact this one. The big changes to Pantheon is that he clears camps a lot faster now. He got a 30% damage boost against monsters on his Q, but you know, I would still categorize him as a bit of a feast or famine champion. You know, this is someone that typically does go for Gore Drinker for the most part in competitive. But he's a champion that, you know, if his profile is much more damage oriented, and if he doesn't get a good early game as a jungler, then he does sort of fall into that vanity cap where you don't really see him doing as much compared to the Vi later on. So I'm a little bit worried about Kongria already falling behind at this juncture. I feel like he does need to get things done, but Beyond Gaming has just been tracking so well. They see him again just through this lane ward here. And they actually catch the support out as well.
Yeah. Sight's there. It doesn't mean they can react in time if they want to. But I do think J-Team are in a decent position to try and force a fight. Spirit Rush stolen by Uniboy. They do start off on this Herald. And we'll see if they're able to complete it. It looks like they want to turn for the fight. Lil V coming in here. This is going to be a full-on 5v5, but keep your eyes on Lee Kai to try and cut them off.
Just waiting
Herald
for Wako to get close enough.
Fired. Wako comes in, the turn, there we go, they're going to get that one into the Ram Jam, and that Ultra Shock Laser, excuse me, the big Zeri ultimate comes through, they take Husha out of the fight, and Uniboy ducks and dives and dodges around the side, Kino isolated, I think they can take this one, they do.
Oh.
Uniboy getting a second right now, and they're not done just yet, Clement, they're going down the line, the Grand Starfall, excuse me, coming through the way, doesn't quite get the deletion.
And that was the decisiveness that we needed to see here. You know, J-Team, they understood that they're flanked from two positions, and that's not a very comfortable spot to be in. So before Beyond Gaming could do anything, they fly directly onto Husha, who I believe he did have his flash, but they were still able to make that work. Beautiful chaining right here. Stun first, goes in with the knockup on the Horn. Beautifully done. Uniboy plays enough of a distraction that forces everyone to scamper up the ramp, and then Kino as a Leona doesn't have much to do afterwards. Even going in for a little bit more of those cheeky flashes afterwards onto Kongria. And you know, J-Team, they find themselves in a good, decent position right here with the Herald already taken.
Yeah, they do. Husha did not get to do a single tick of damage in that last fight. They deleted him before he could press a whole lot of buttons. That was what we were expecting. Like, the nice setup, the bait. Sure, it could have been like a bigger... not necessarily like a full wipe or anything, but it could have been a bigger fight win for J-Team, but still 2 kills relatively cleanly, well execution, good target priority. That's what we're expecting out of J-Team. So they started to find a window back in. They couldn't quite get this tower. It looks like they did drop Shelly, so they got a charge out, but couldn't quite finish it. At the same time, plates are taken early on. That has to help. Lil V using those spoils to buy himself a 10-minute Kraken Slayer.
Yeah, I like that adaptation here as well. J-Team actually got the Herald onto their AD carry, instantly dropped it for the top lane, and now heads back to bottom side with a big mythic advantage here. So it's really nicely done, good chain all around, and you know, getting Sivir ahead against the Zeri is exactly what you want to do here. We also see Kongria just hanging around, trying to find a potential to chase down Wako, but he's going to get spotted out.
Wako does a great job of playing it out safely for the most part, but the pressure in here, 25 seconds until the dragon spawns. This would be J-Team looking to try and even that particular score.
Yeah, it's going to be an Infernal, so very hotly contested onto this one. Beyond Gaming, the way I'm looking at this, unless they get a big catch before it happens, it's going to be a little bit too difficult. We also have to notice that there is a TP difference between Rock and Likai. So, you know, if Rock really wants to, he can still arrive at the fight going through mid lane here. So, I don't think Beyond Gaming can contest this one too hard.
I don't think they did. Lil V is able to keep the wave shoved as well, and they don't want to fight in the 2v2 situation. Kongye will proc the Infernal Dragon. Husha's in the area. If they wanted to try for a counter collapse, they could, but you're right. The 5v4, the number advantage, Beyond know this, and they are not going to opt to contest, so we will be split at a couple of dragons apiece.
Yeah. Infernal Drake this time, giving 6% extra AD, extra AP. It's a great one for the entire team here. JTM are going to take this one. And, you know, this is what I like about Kongye actually playing on something with a little bit more easier crowd control than compared to the Vi, I would say, is that he has been the main playmaker for JT. You know, despite the top lane being a lot of tanks, or despite Enzo playing so well, their main initiation still comes down to Kongye, which is why a lot of teams have actually been banning his Poppy.
Yeah, I think it's a very smart adaptation from a lot of teams, and it's good to see that he's found at least another champion that can do this type of thing. Whether or not he can still have the game-winning impact is to be said, but it's a great time to find at the 11th hour in this series. You know, you're down 2 games. You are in danger of dropping to the lower bracket. Are you worried about Meta Falcon team? Probably not, but you certainly got to be worried about where your head's at if you go winless against a team that's 3 seeds down from you. Still plenty of game left to play, plenty of series left to play, of course, as they will have to be careful of Likai too, as he gets his teleport back up and available, has a couple of levels lead on that Ornn, and he hasn't gotten the kills. That's crucial this time around. That difference is there as he completes himself the Divine Sunderer.
Yeah, and I would say if you drop down, it's not about MFT you should worry for, but it's whoever comes down the pipeline between
That's true.
CFO and Frank.
Because it's got to be one of them.
Teams are easy. Yeah,
yeah.
No, you have to pick one of those two. And I feel like those 2 teams are probably the scariest teams on 12.14. So, you know, just my opinion here, the teams that I predicted to get the biggest boon are Frank Esports and G on 12.14. And the teams that I predicted to go down a notch were PSG and Beyond Gaming. Now, looks like I might have been wrong on that one, but let me explain my reasoning.
I can't get everything right.
Yeah, I feel like teams that rely on more of a late game strategy are going to fall down. I feel like teams that are, you know, habitually giving over the first 2 Drakes are going to find it a little bit more difficult to survive on 12.14. Beyond Gaming so far, you know, showcasing that they can still play a very strong early game, though.
Hey, they're pretty good at dragons, though. I mean, keep that in mind. Like, that doesn't necessarily apply to this team. Yes, they play a late game, but it doesn't mean they don't find the timing windows, sneak these dragons occasionally. However, it is 1-to-1 apiece in this game as Kino gets zoned away. Next dragon very far away, so J-Team would be looking for opportunity kills in this particular case. I do kind of like that they've decided to sack top for a bit, because it means they can focus on throwing their weight around bottom, and Rock is still going to have an impact in the game. It's risky because Likai can pop off, but as long as he doesn't get the kills, you're kind of minimizing your loss there.
Well, looks like J-Team are going to be hard forcing themselves into this gank.
Yeah, they are. Okay. Not full commit. Husha's around. I think they realize this could be a bit of a trap as Uniboy looks for some chains to try and catch Husha. Get himself a cease and desist. Doesn't happen. Goes right back onto the lane. So Beyond are trying to stop J-Team from getting too aggressive. They succeeded for now.
And we could just see J-Team going for a straight beeline into the Herald right here. I believe they do have the earlier back, and we see Beyond Gaming actually leaving Wako in lane for the full push. So interesting decision. Indeed, J-Team are going to be heading topside. And as we've said about the second Herald, you know, this Herald has 75% more HP. What really matters here is if you get that beyond the 14-minute mark, you could really set up for a second charge onto an inner tower. But it does have to be a sustained charge. As we saw in the previous game, J-Team, you know, dropped it.
Can't give it up.
First one. Yeah, you can't really do that. If you do that, then you're not getting the full benefit of a 12.14.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like you have to commit to certain plays, right? Like, yeah. I know we joke about, like, full sending it sometimes. The problem is J-Team this series have so rarely sent it at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's been their problem.
Yeah. Let's see if they commit to this one. You do have the back away. They are going to lose first brick out to Wako, but they're not far behind here, and they have Lil V and Kongye in the area. Enzo is nearby. Lee Kai is hoping to get a catch out, but he gets pinged on the ricochet. It's weirdly one of the safest ways to push the wave, right?
Yep.
And they get that charge. Here. There we go.
Okay, finally. And J-Team still have enough time to actually go into the bot side and contest this as well. So, well done on J-Team's part. They lose the bottom lane, but it doesn't really matter because they still have the edge in terms of the fighting power that they're going to be sending here. 15 seconds into the clock. Well done here. Lee Kai has to decide if he actually wants to come down for this one. He can't just teleport to anywhere at this point, but it will take a while for him to do so. That's a 6-second timer where J-Team could potentially find it engaged. Rock is going to be here first.
J-Team are feeling a lot more confident right now. Watching this team move, this is... I don't know what was said in between this game and the last one, but whatever it was very much clearly a lot more impactful than what had been said previously, because this team has definitely gotten themselves on a different level. Yet to be seen if they win this game, they stay alive in the series. However, they're making decisions a lot quicker now.
Exactly, and I'm going to venture out on what was said. DCG, FAK, or CFO. Take your pick. And the team was like,
take your pick.
You know what? I'd rather go against DCG here.
Hey, man, that's all you got to say. That's very efficient.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true coach.
I'll be honest, I
also,
feel like J-Team losing to DCG is a lot harder on their mentality.
It would be, but you'd much rather face them in the upper bracket than face either of those other teams in the lower. I feel like anywhere else. I do love what J-Team are doing here with the Sivir, is they're just kind of going for a little guerrilla warfare hit and run. Because Lil V is fast enough. He's got 2 cleanses effectively. He has a spell shield and the summoner instead of Ghost for a more aggressive play like Wako's been doing. And yeah, I mean, he basically matches Lee Kai's pressure. That's going to get a lot harder as you start to look at inner turrets, but I like that they've kept Lee Kai killless and still managed to just funnel gold into their Sivir. So the Sivir win condition is alive and well.
I think J-Team have much more of a late game to play around this time. Their early game still haven't accomplished all that much, but they're decidedly in a lead. And I feel like for Beyond Gaming, their comp much more relies around that catch potential from the Ahri and the Vi, and so far they just haven't been able to find it here. So I think it's going to be a little bit tougher Beyond Gaming. I don't think they can take straight 5v5s around this point. I need to see them actually utilize this Ahri and go for those picks. I think going for the mid lane is definitely a big option right here, or it actually needs to be done, because if J-Team actually just group up, their chances of winning become much lower. So, we'll see Beyond Gaming already setting up for potential picks. They have that top side of the ramp cleared out, so they know that there's no wards here, but they just don't find it.
Yep. Playing it out a little safer, keeping the waves cleared. Having that Sivir does mean you just destroy waves. Absolutely. Here comes Pantheon. Channel doesn't complete here for Kongye. We're looking for that Grand Starfall to try and wombo up on the combo. Charm dodged out. Nicely done. As they look to set up for this outer, they got to keep in mind that Lee Kai can teleport at any time he wants. Uniboy steals away Kino's ultimate. Solar Flare could be huge. Here comes the Ornhorn. Solar Flare popped on the opposite side in both directions. They look to go in to finish the job. And Minji just eats a fair bit of damage, but not lethal. Can't quite take the turret down. Meanwhile, they still got to deal with Lee Kai up in their own top.
Really nicely played by Beyond Gaming. I'm so impressed with the fact that they didn't lose a single flash in that one. J-Team are going for a 5v4 burst down, and they didn't catch anyone. So, kudos to Beyond Gaming. That was insanely well played. Honestly, I think that they were supposed to lose a couple of flashes, perhaps their tower, but they didn't lose anything.
Yeah, sometimes clutch is, open mouth, jaw on the floor moments. Sometimes it's just
simple dodging.
Very, very good, solid stutter steps. Yeah. Really nicely done. Wako's starting to catch up on items too. He does get that back in the Phantom Dancer. So right now the difference really only stands at that at the BF sword that Lily's got in the inventory, and I do think Wako's gonna start coming into his own. 3 items there. He's still a terror. It never really got online on the J-Team side in previous games, but this is Mega Bank Beyond Gaming we're talking about.
And we still have to remember that Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, they have a great dive composition. You know, we talk about triple dive. This is exactly the comp that you want to be running. Wako can stay safe by himself on the Zeri. There's a lot of trading.
Play. Yeah. Here comes that Grand Starfall, but they were ready for it. Kongye just buys a little bit of time and turns immediately in as they take Kino out of the picture and the charge is on. Meanwhile, the 131 has to turn back and run. A big swing, gold infusion for J-Team. They open so much of the map up. However, Lil V stays around a little too long. They'll reconnect, stay together once again. And Lee Kai, he knows he can't break that phalanx. As they turn once again, do they actually have the damage to delete him? No, they chase him away.
45 seconds to Drake. I think it's a bit better for J-Team if they still decide to back on this one. Yeah, they're not going to stay on the map with this type of HP bars. A great play from J-Team. This is exactly how you want to play against a 1-3-1. You want to burst them through middle, and they send all 5 members on it. They have the Pantheon man drop behind the tower, catching the support off. They come from different angles, just making Beyond Gaming's life that much more difficult. And, you know, this is how you want to play against a Fiora. You want to force the Fiora constantly moving in to defend terrain rather than split push.
Oh, for sure. This time the timing is really good for J-Team as well. They're going to be able to get into position on the back of the pit before the Dragon spawns. Beyond are going to try to burst this down themselves. However, J-Team Cavalry have arrived, and all of a sudden Beyond look like they don't want to take the fight here. It's going to get started off. Could still be in for the flip, but J-Team know they don't want to give themselves up for a bunch of bursts. They do have the Dragon advantage at the moment. Going to reset into the pit. Kongye starts it back up again. Chasing down. Minji tries to land that charm, goes just a little out of position, dodging Orbs of Deception. Great play on both sides. But I think the advantage is J-Team here, unless the smite is right. But they want the fight. Here comes the Ornhorn. It's going to be pushed away. However, as a cluster, they've lost a lot of health here. J-Team looking to back away, and you can see Husha can't quite find the angle. The turnaround, second wind on that one. Wako does get his ultimate off, but it doesn't really find purchase. And the Honey Fruit heal, it means that J-Team, they win the War of Attrition, Clement. This is gonna be Soul Point.
Beautiful measure play from J-Team. They just keep their formations intact. They don't allow Lee Kai to ever find a way into the backline here. They cut him off on the ramp. Uniboy even shifts back to just stun him there. And they're able to just, you know, force Beyond Gaming, keep them at arm's length, and just take them down with the ricochet. That was basically all Little V damage going through onto the other side. Very difficult to avoid if you're on the side of Beyond Gaming. They don't find any charms throughout that entire sequence. I think that was kind of a big reason why they weren't able to do anything. But this is the thing about 12.14 is that the Drakes are have a lot more HP. So even if you get on a Drake first, it usually doesn't mean that you can rush it down. The enemy team always has a say, and a lot of times when you're trying to rush, you actually give up positioning on those ramps for the enemy to come down here. So I actually feel like Beyond Gaming, their better game plan was keep on shoving the wave, but let J-Team get onto the scene first. Try to pick J-Team off as they funnel themselves into the Dragon Pit, which is much harder to avoid.
And J-Team just not making the same mistakes this game. Like, something has definitely clicked for them. We'll see if it stays that way, but at the 25-minute mark that we just crest here, it is, in fact, a J-Team gold lead. Not a huge one, but there it is, and they've managed to hold Beyond to one kill. Uniboy, yeah,
that's good.
They're starting to feel pretty good about things. Like, you're down 2 games in the series. You could still go out in this one, but the team seems to have recovered their mental, and they have a big tempo advantage here. 3 items completed first by Lil V as well, and Kongye's had a lot of impact in this. They can get the chase on. They will isolate Wako, and he has absolutely nowhere to go. I think that was overkill, but that was brutal. Gonna be Baron. Oh, man, that guy did not even need to, he didn't even get to live. He didn't even get to stay on the ground. He just got pinballed into the air, but this is still a flip if Husha wants to try and test the smite.
He does have that angle, and he's actually unstopped right here. Let's see if he can flash over this wall. We have seen a lot of junglers fail this one.
Oh, Minji, though. Very low. They are going to lose a tower down on
Oh,
bottom
spotted.
side. J-Team's starting to lose out a little bit here as
Trying to get in.
trying to lead
Flash
Minji.
this
Kino
one.
kept low.
Devoured.
They swallow the Vi. You can't smite when you're in the belly of the Kench. And Uniboy is going to take out Minji. Meanwhile, though, look at the base. Look at the base. Lee Kai. Ah, he's got it chased away. All right.
Enzo trying to go
He
for
wants 3.
more.
He wants 3. Gonna go for that triple kill. Let's see if he gets it. Nope, goes golden.
TV comes in. They have to
This is
save
tight.
Uniboy.
It's a bait. Here comes Lee Kai.
He still goes in after
yeah.
that?
This is so close right now. Lovey takes him down.
Oh,
They're gonna keep the train rolling. Double kill for the Sivir with the Baron buff. They got the push.
Oh boy, and Wako's the only one left to clear the waves after that one. That was a massive overreach from Lika. He wanted the kill so badly. But J-Team able to flip it around. It looks like Wako will still be enough to dissuade the flanking HP bars from pushing in further. J-Team, they want to play this steady. They've got a big chunk of gold at home waiting for them. So they're just going to pick that one up instead.
Oh my goodness. So many close calls in that case, but it does all go J-Team's favor. They extend the gold lead massively. Let's take a look at that fight. It seemed like they had the confidence that they didn't have to 50-50 this, but it was hairy for a moment.
Yeah, Enzo actually does a great job here, just zoning out Minji and Husha at the same time. He gets the lick down, and Uniboy somehow able to find the 1v2 onto the top side.
What?
What was that damage? That was insane.
Yeah, I don't. Holy moly! Like that, I get.
But the
Meanwhile,
Kickstarter kill on Leona was okay.
Yeah, for real. Like that was honestly more damage than I was expecting. I was looking at his build, like thinking, okay, where's your AP, man? Apparently, it's a lot. I mean, I guess he does get a little bonus from that Infernal Dragon on this patch, Clement. You can't underestimate it. You've been telling me all night.
Yeah, and J-Team are going to push in very confidently with a 7k advantage right now. It doesn't look like... I'm trying to think how Beyond Gaming can actually win this one, but when they're the ones being pushed in...
Yeah, looking for a miracle, but I don't think they're going to get the opportunity. They do lose a tower in mid, but
Oh,
I don't think
Kino's
it really
going down.
matters here. Kino getting chased down by Lil V. Lil V throws down that spell shield. Didn't even need it up against the optimistic charm of Minji, and with a gaping hole in their base, Lee Kai will try to flank for the hero play, but I don't know if it's going to matter. Husha as well. Uniboy turns on him. Team looks like they are a little bit split focused right now, but they'll take down the first Nexus turret all the same. Lee Kai zoned away, and they bring Pantheon right into the front lines, tagging in onto Husha. No chance for him, no shot at all, and Wako dancing, ducking, diving, dodging, and shocking with the lasers, but just not enough to get a kill on anybody, and they will stiff-arm Lee Kai yet again as they knock bop him and take him down once more. Enzo stunned up, but damage starting to run out here. J-Team, I think they might be feeling that they want to turn around. They do lose Enzo.
Little V is also very low here.
Call the Forge God to get one knockup, but Kino still frontlining here. They will be able to turn on the damage yet again, chasing them out of their own base. It's just Minji. Just Minji left. I think they're going to do it. Clement, J-Team are staying alive.
Oh, the Heartseeker strike goes through, and it finds Wako at the very end here. It's still going to be a 2 versus 3 defend, but in comes the TP as well. We're going to go straight for
and
the
they bring
kill.
Minji. Look at all that damage. Look at the knockups. That's going to be it. Oh, they even hit him with the G-Rex, and that is going to be J-Team coming back in Game 3.
Good play here coming in from J-Team. I think they were a lot more composed this game around, and the Pantheon, even though it didn't find that much early game action, it did work wonders against the 1-3-1. I feel like J-Team have found kind of the way you burst open Beyond Gaming. It's that you cast them out when they try to get greedy, when they try to farm up their side lanes. You just burst them with the 5-man. They're able to kill Kino and Wako repeatedly, just going for the mid lane towers here, and finally it awarded them the win.
Kongye in his first career Pantheon game definitely makes a huge difference for the team, but they also just played together well, decisive and confident play. And this is the J-Team that we were expecting to see.
Yeah, I also want to say the Sivir first pick, finally, was such a huge one.
If you're blue side,
and the enemy already banned out the Kalista and Lucian, you take away the Sivir, you take away 2/3 of their entire ban strategy, and most importantly, Sivir gives you the mid lane shove. That's the most important thing out of this entire draft session. is if you get mid lane shoved, then the enemy 1-3-1 actually becomes unplayable because they're forced underneath their tower. You send anyone while they're going into the side lanes, you can instantly crack open their defenses, force them to scramble back further into their own territory, and you just collapse the entire jungle. So I feel like J-Team finally heard my prayers. They were hovering the Ari. I was going, no, 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 no. This is going to be an 0-3. And then finally, around 15 seconds, they lock into Sivir. So well done, Nash. Good for you. Cold Ice, you done good. You done good.
Yeah, this was a game. They're going to have to climb back into this one. If they want the reverse sweep, they need to win 2 more games. But for J-Team, this was a confidence win. They played like they had it from the beginning. They were quick. They were decisive. Nothing against Beyond Gaming either. I think the drafting, they were a little bit surprised by some of what happened. The Sivir takeaway, very clearly meant that they had to change things up a little bit. Also, the Wukong ban away. I think those were great tech changes in the draft. But Beyond Gaming still tried to play into a strategy. They just didn't have the same win conditions. They didn't have the late game by comparison, and they weren't able to do enough. So the 1-3-1, it was dismantled this time around. The question is, does that change anything, or do they go right back to it? Maybe with the first time they've got the side selection, they can make Beyond Gaming force J-Team onto red.
That's such a weird one because I actually don't feel like the games necessarily have been based off of side selection. Like, I almost feel like J-Team might even be stronger on red side. And
well, that would be scary.
Yeah, I'm actually perfectly happy on red side and still giving Lee Kai his pick of the Fiora. What red side means is that you're getting 2 bans out of J-Team at all times. You're getting both Gwen and Fiora, both Gwen and Camille. Those 2 are always going to be banned away from the side of J-Team. But, let's take a look at the game-winning play right here. This is really important. If you look at the map, the 1-3-1 is so spread out. They haven't hit the river right just yet. And
Teleport cancel too.
Yeah, they're able to just burst through the entire defensive structure, and this collapses the map so far. Like, Beyond Gaming, after this point, they cannot farm safely back into any of these side lanes anymore. They just have to rely on picks afterwards.
Yeah. It's good front to back, and Pantheon can go from the back to the front, as we see multiple times here. Great isolation on Wako. This is what they tried to do so many times in game 1 and 2. And man, how many times can one guy get knocked up? Just like 1, 2, 3, and you're dead. Like, you can't stop that. You just can't.
Yeah,
once you're in the air.
They ran over him with the truck, and then they backed up and reversed onto him again. That was 4 ultimates for just 1 kill.
Also, watch Enzo here. Like, this is why the Tom Kench was cryoed. This is brilliant. He zones out 1. He zones out 2. Hoosh is like, I can get around him. I can get around him. I can get around him. Nope. Get in my belly. Denial.
No flashes for you. Great stuff coming in on that side. And you also get to 1v2 afterwards. So,
yeah. Man, it's a long replay. I like this. Oh, yeah. Cutie Boy is just like, I want it. I want the kill. Give me the kill.
Yeah, this was a little bit too much, I think, from Lee Kai, charging in to finally get the final kill. He was 1 proc away on Vital from Uniboy's death, but it did mean that they gave up 2 more after Husha. Lee Kai falls down, and that pretty much breaks open the game afterwards. So I think we have the answer here coming in from the side of J-Team. You can allow the 1-3-1 to go through. You can allow the Fioras, maybe the Gwen. But what you need is those hard engage options. You need engage options from everyone on the team. You need it from the Tom Kench. You need it from Uniboy as well to make sure that you don't allow Beyond Gaming to turtle. And look at that damage.
Right. Just want to draw your eye to the Sivir damage. Yeah, that's more than double any single person in this game.
Especially with the Vi, I think this is... We have seen Vi's just be very feast or famine. A lot of times when...
Even more.
She's ahead, she looks great, she survives, she gets the blasts on everyone. We saw Inspired going 1v3, but when she's behind and you never find a chance to engage on anyone, it does feel very lackluster as a champion.
I also think we saw some of the limitations of Ari on display with Minji. Like, a lot of those charms were just very much fishing. Never really had much of a chance to catch Lil V thanks to the cleanse and the spell shield. But also, outside of like the level 1, level 2 play onto the Silas, really didn't find that many charms, and there really isn't any priority targets there. I think they kind of denied a lot. So J-Team get the win. Kongye earns the MVP in his first career Pantheon pickup. He was everywhere on the map. A little bit of a whoopsie in level 2, maybe underestimating tower damage. Doesn't matter. He still flexed on this Beyond Gaming squad. And I think this is what we want to see out of Kongye. Active in the early game, active in the mid and late game, and just setting up the plays for his team. That's when he's at his best.
Yeah, if you look at this patch, I think junglers with big team fight changing ultimates are the #1 go-to, because objective fights are so important this time around. So you have the man drop, that's probably one of the best, and then Vi comes in #2, Wukong comes in #3. I think we're going to see those 3 jungles being played a lot more. And to be honest, I would take Wukong and Pantheon over the Vi. I feel like Vi is a bit more of a one-track champion, not suitable for a second pick on red side.
It's fun jungle meta. We're out to see what we're going to see next, but J-Team have showed some signs of life, so we will be continuing into Game 4. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.